Hi, so I'm going to show you how to make chicken stir fry. So the first thing you do is get 2 cups of water to make the rice, and you put it in a saucepan, and then you turn it on high so that it boils. Once it boils, you then take 2 cups of the rice, you put it in, you turn off the heat, and you put the lid on. And that's ready in about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to get the rice ready. I am using the dry measuring cup. So I have 1 cup and 2 cups. You use equal amounts of rice to water. And at home I do prefer using brown rice, but for time reasons, because of our class period length, we are going to use quick cooking rice. So I have my rice ready to go when the water starts boiling. So your recipe says to add 2 tablespoons of oil to the skillet. So you're going to use 2 different pans, one for the vegetables and one for the chicken. Sometimes you have people in the group that don't want the chicken, and it also helps you to cook it a little quicker and mix it around. So grab your tablespoon, 1, 2, all right, and then turn it on medium heat. Now, while your oil is heating up, you want to cut up your chicken. So again, remember we have gone over foodborne illness and how raw meat, especially poultry, can make you sick. So you want to be careful not to, drop any or spread any chicken juice around. And if you do, be sure to clean it up. So each of your groups will get a chicken breast. They're pretty big, and I recommend cutting them into small strips, about a 1/4 inch thick. That way they cook quickly, and you'll have time to eat. So again, just be really careful moving your hands out of the way. And some of the pieces, because of how I cut the chicken, are a lot larger. So I would even maybe cut those in half. So the water is starting to steam. It's not quite boiling yet. And if you have any big pieces of fat on your chicken, you can certainly cut that off. Now my knife is, contaminated with the chicken juice. So I would clean that right off, or have one of your group members clean it right off. And wash your hands. Make sure that you wash your hands. Whoever touches that chicken washes their hands immediately. All right, so I have the chicken ready. I'm going to move that over. Now, for this recipe, we are going to use frozen vegetables. Again, the reason is just for time. So I do have a stir-fry mix with broccoli, some peppers, some onions, and some water chestnuts. But you could certainly cut those up yourself, peppers or whatever other vegetables you like. So our rice is ready. Well, our water for our rice. So you pour the rice in. Grab a spoon or fork, mix it around just a little bit, and then you cover it up. And in 5 minutes, your rice will be ready. So our oil is starting to get warm, so then you want to put the chicken in. You just want to be careful when you're sliding it down, because there is oil in there, and it could, jump back at you. Now these are both infected too, or contaminated. So put those off to the side. Now while that's cooking, you can get your cornstarch ready and mince your garlic. So for your recipe, you need 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And make sure that you are using teaspoons and not tablespoons. 1 and 2. Put that right into a little glass dish. And then you're going to mix that with 1 tablespoon of cold water. Now, you never want to directly mix cornstarch into a hot liquid because it will clump up and you won't be able to get it to the right consistency, and you'll have little chunks of cornstarch in there. So you're making a slurry, and the cornstarch is used to thicken up, the sauce. Alright, so we have that set aside. Now I'm going to mix my chicken around, and I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit because it is starting to sizzle out. It's okay. So Miss Barton came in to say hi. So we're just making our chicken teriyaki. All right, so now I'm going to mince up the garlic. So again, we went over knife safety skills. And you always want to make sure that your fingers are out of the way. Now, because we cut up the chicken on the other cutting board, we don't want to use the same one because it's infected with salmonella. And we don't want to spread that around. So I would grab another knife. And then I'm just going to peel the garlic. And then you want to remove, if there's a little end part that's kind of hard, you just want to remove that. And then you cut little strips. And then you just get those little strips back together. And I do prefer the bigger knife for doing this, but because I used it for the chicken, I didn't have it available. And then you want to make sure you're paying attention to your chicken. Also, for your rice, make sure you turn off that heat. If you cover that and leave the heat on, it will burn the rice to the bottom of your pan. So I do suggest having one person in your group in charge of the chicken, one person in charge of the rice. All right, so the chicken is still cooking. Now in this skillet, so we have skillet number 2, we are gonna turn on the heat again to medium and add a little bit of oil. Probably about a tablespoon. Again, I want you guys measuring, but I cook all the time. And once that heats up, then you're gonna add your frozen vegetables. So once the chicken gets going, we're going to add the garlic to this, and we're also going to create the, sauce in there. So the sauce consists of soy sauce, honey, the cornstarch, and a little pepper. We don't add salt to the sauce because of the soy sauce is actually very salty. So we don't need any extra salt. Again, I'm going to move my laptop just so you can see the chicken. And before you eat your chicken, I want to check it. I want to make sure that there's absolutely no pink in there, that it's completely cooked. I don't want anyone getting sick. So now I'm going to add the vegetables to the other pan because I can feel that it's warm. Now you only want it on medium because, again, if it's too hot, the vegetables are frozen and it will pop right up at you. The hot oil, and we don't want that. And if there's some vegetables in here you don't like, I'm not too fond of water chestnuts, you can pick around them. Okay, so when your chicken is almost all the way cooked, you want to then add your garlic in. And then you're going to add your honey and your soy sauce and your pepper. So you need about 3 tablespoons of honey. 1. The honey is super, super sticky. Now our vegetables are still cooking as well in the other pan, and by this time, your rice should be done. tablespoons of honey and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So again, the soy sauce is super salty, and I am going to pop that off just because it's so much easier to pour it. So 1 and 2. Okay. I'm going to quickly mix my vegetables around. And again, you can have one person focusing on the vegetables and another person focusing on the chicken. Now, once you have the honey and the soy sauce in there, you want to also add your slurry, which is your cornstarch. You want to make sure you get all that out. And that is what is going to thicken up your sauce for your stir fry. Then you just want to mix that around. And I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. And I can tell by looking at mine that I need a little bit more water. Add that in. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit more. You do not want to burn your sauce. So again, you're not going to make your sauce until your chicken is pretty much cooked, because your sauce thickens up super quick. So I'm turning that down super low, and you keep cooking it. Your sauce is going to thicken up from the cornstarch, and then once your vegetables are almost all the way cooked through, we can add those. So then you're going to take your vegetables and add those also to your chicken pan. Now, if you have a smaller pan for your chicken than your vegetables, you can certainly put them all in with the vegetables. I prefer to have the bigger pan for the chicken, because then, you know, you make the sauce with the chicken, you make sure that you get it all, so that none of the sauce is wasted. And we still do have to add our pepper. So it says 1/8 teaspoon, so we only have a 1/4 teaspoon, measurer. So I would put in 1/2 of a 1/4, because 1/2 of a 1/4 is 1/8. You mix that all in. So I'm just going to let this warm through, and then I will show you how to plate it. Okay, so once you have everything all cooked and ready to go, your sauce is in there, your vegetables are cooked, and your chicken is cooked. Remember, before you add the vegetables, make sure your chicken is cooked. Again, before you even make the sauce in there, you want your chicken pretty much done, like no pink, ready to go. And then what you will do is you can grab a plate or a bowl, and you'll want to fluff up your rice. Now the top of the rice lid was still hot on this one. So just fluff up your rice. And 2 cups of rice and 2 cups of water makes enough for all your group. The recipe is designed for about 4 to 5 people. So then you put some rice in your bowl or on your plate. And then you can scoop some of your vegetables and chicken on there as well. Now, if you like a lot of sauce, you could, grab a spoon and scoop some of that up. And then you are ready to eat your homemade stir fry.